2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready.
Welcome to Straight Talk TV, the show that cares about you. And here's our host, Tony Brown.
Thank you for joining us. Steve said, thank you for joining another edition of Straight Talk. Straight Talk is truly the show where the information comes from the people to the people. And we're going to have the conversation. But before we have the conversation, please stand in your heart and in your minds for the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let us march on till victory
Yes.
is won. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun, about a day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won. Is won.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead. Johanna and Steve McCoy performing the Black National Anthem. And we're going to keep marching because it's a marathon. And truly is a marathon today. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But again, welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. It truly is the show that cares about you, where the information comes from the people to the people. And we're going to have the conversation. We're going to be joined with author Precious Shepherd. She is author of 2 books on their way to the bestseller. One of the books is entitled 10 Steps to Soothe. 10 Steps to Self-Soothe. Okay? And the next book is titled The Disconnect. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Precious Shepherd. Thank you, Ms. Shepherd, aka multimillionaire. We'll share a little bit about what multimillionaire is all about too. Thank you. I know you've been on the grind. You're getting it in. We appreciate what you've been doing. And I know you're getting ready for your book tour and all that good stuff. But thank you so much. We feel extremely blessed to have you in the presence and sharing with our viewers about this book. The first one is titled 10 Steps to Self-Soothe. And I want to read something to you before we get that. Sometimes people be saying, okay. We hear that, but there's some alphabets. You know, some people, the alphabets move them, right? So I want to share something with you, a little bit, give you a little insight on Precious Shepherd. She has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in psychology. She's traveled from Japan to Korea. Her initial goal was to become a bilingual criminal justice attorney. However, mental health is her love. So she's sharing her special gift, mental love, through these 2 books. Again, please welcome Miss Precious Shepherd, author of these 2 wonderful books. Thank you, Ms. Shepherd.
Hello. How are you?
Hey, I always tell people I'm too blessed to stress
I
because
know it. I know
it's not going to do any good to stress. And your book tells us how to soothe on down.
Self-soothe.
So let's talk a little bit about the self-soothe and share a little bit about who you are for the viewers, and then we'll get into the books. Because I talked a little bit about your criminal justice, the psychology, master's degree, mental health. How did you switch lanes?
Well, like you said, my goal was to become a bilingual criminal justice attorney. And I went through and going through the classes and doing everything, working so hard. And counseling just kept popping up, popping up. So I said, okay, I'm gonna switch lanes and get my master's in psychology. And I did that and just fell in love with mental health and helping. It's just so important. And so I wanted to help. So I worked in a bunch of different facilities, trying to help. And this book was born because people need. I want to be politically correct when I say this,
But this is
but
straight talk too at the same time, so it's
we're
okay.
straight talk, so it's all right. I know that people will call when they're having anxiety or depression, and they'll call and want to get into the doctor. Sometimes you can't get in there for 2 weeks. They don't have an appointment. And what you need to learn how to do is to self-soothe in the moment. You need to have some type of techniques. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. You need to go if you're feeling that way. But until you can get to your appointment, you need to be. Who wants to wait 2 weeks and be in anxiety or depression and crying, and who wants to do that when you could find techniques to self-soothe, and when you get to the doctor, you can explain to them what you were experiencing instead of what you're currently experiencing.
Now, I was reading about you have actually 10 steps. And you could just touch on, I think the first 2 steps, just touch a little bit, because people, you need to go and get the book. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you.
Please and thank you.
So you can have the book in your presence and you can go through the steps. So one of the steps was, and I was looking at it, and I said, well, all the steps is good, but I was looking at the steps of applying it to everyday relationships. Because I'm sure if we keep it 100, straight talk, we've all been in conversations with our significant others, business relationships, where our tone gets up. Go ahead, Ms. Shepherd. Go ahead. Where our tone gets up, okay?
Right. Right. And we feel like we're gonna take it to another level.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to de-escalate. When I still counsel. I'm still a mental health counselor. However, when I first started many years ago, and they were teaching these techniques about breathing, and like, I don't want to do that. Like, we breathing now. Like, I'm breathing, but I'm mad, And I didn't realize until after, doing a lot of research and trying a lot of different techniques, that breathing helps to de-escalate. It's just the way the brain works. When you do like, and sometimes, or you'll breathe in and then another real quick, it releases a lot of toxins, and it helps to bring that. Breathing will also, you get up and oh, I don't feel like going to work, I'm so tired. Certain type of breathing techniques can make you alert. Certain type of breathing techniques can make you relax at night, so you're able to sleep. So in the beginning of my career, I was like, I am telling nobody to do that. But I know now, the importance of it, and it works.
I was also reading in the book where it was talking about data dumping. where we just get so much going on, and you get into conversation. I'm just going to use an example here, folks, because we're going to keep it 100. You're in a relationship, whether it's a business or personal or with your children, and you get in a conversation, and the conversations become where everybody's voice done went up. Now you not having a conversation, you are arguing with each other. And what I was hearing from the book, it was almost like you're data dumping because it's really something else that's go ahead, Mr. Shepherd, that's interfering in the conversation while you're having the conversation, and that's really why your voice is in argument pursues.
So that data dumping that could be a whole different book. Like
Okay.
literally,
I'm sure you'll put it together.
yeah, I'll get it there.
Right.
You know, we go through and we as women, no shade on the men, but you know, we wear so many hats. We wear so many hats. A lot of us are, you know, mama, daddy, brother, sister, cousin, friend, doctor, lawyer, you know, disciplinarian. You know, we wear a lot of hats, and our minds work like spaghetti. Where men more, they compartmentalize. When you're doing your football, that's what you're doing. You're only bothered. When you're doing your parenting, that's what you're doing. But we are like spaghetti, and we do. So our brains are like, if you would think of thunder and lightning, it's just all over the place all the time. So what happens is we get so overwhelmed and consumed with life, because life is life. And so you get consumed with that, and you have to learn how to data dump. You have to get that out. You have to write, you have to meditate, you have to it took a very long time, years and years. Like, I have not been doing it very long. You have to learn how to sit with yourself and know you. You know, I didn't have time to sit with myself. I raised 10 kids. You know, I'm moving all over. Yes, yes, just say no. You know, I've learned to and we just get so caught up in the moment. You know what I mean? We're doing this, we're doing that. And so what you were talking about, when the conversation escalates, that's a little different than data dumping. But what happens is we're so busy and have so many things on our mind that when we're having a conversation with the children or the significant other, we don't take the time to hear what the other one is saying. You know, it is so important. And so you have to be at peace with yourself, and there's a way to have a disagreement, if you will. Like I said, that's a whole different book, but there's a way to have a disagreement. I can hear you and I understand, and then you reflect what I hear you saying is, and then you repeat what the person is saying. So now we have a dialogue, and instead of a full-blown smackdown.
Exactly, right. And I was looking, when I was reading the book, I was visualizing the process, and how does one, when you in, and I'm just keeping it 100, when you're in conversations and is the breathing starting to shorten so the voices go up? I mean, what is happening that we're not hearing each other, and all of a sudden everybody wants to be right?
That's in a different book.
That's
but but what happens is, like I said, because we're so overwhelmed and consumed with a lot of other things, you know, you could come in the door and say, you know, can you please get the groceries out? Or can you get the groceries out the car? And then he could say, well, you could at least say, please. Well, there it is, because I've been at work. Now I came home, I stopped at the grocery store. And you mean to tell me that you can't go get the now he's who you hollering at. And so now we've gone way to the left. because we're not hearing each other. We need to be able to decompress. If something is bothering us, we need to have the ability to decompress. And so then when I present you with something, I'm going to present you with respect, but it'll make you feel what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Instead of getting mad and not it's a process. A lot of I think it's a good idea. In the book it talks about writing.
Okay.
Now I've took a lot. I've taken college courses for years. I was taking college courses when I was in high school. That's how, I want to absorb as much knowledge as I can. But you got all that going on. You got, as years go on, you got kids, you got work, you got homework, you got this book you got to read, that one you got, it's just so overwhelming. And what you need to do is just take you some time, even if it's 15 minutes, and just write. I don't care what you write. The sentences don't have to make sense. You don't have to worry about, grammatical errors and things of that nature. Just write. And when you're writing things down, like things that you're thinking, don't worry about it. You spelled it wrong. Don't worry about just write it down. And what it does is it takes it from your head and puts it on that paper. And um, it's like bricks are taken off your shoulders because now you don't carry it in here. It's down on the paper. So it's really that writing thing is really, that technique is vital. Sometimes I just write, I look the next day, what was I trying to say?
Right.
We have so much going on though. You know what I mean? So we have to be able to, you can't just keep like with computers, you just can't keep carrying, you keep putting data in there, it's not gonna work anymore.
Yes.
It's not going to work. You have to, I don't know if they're defragging computers anymore. That might be outdated. Did I just date myself? But you have to clean up emails. You get too many emails in there. You have to clean those emails out. You can't have a bunch of data just sitting on top of more data on top of more data. And you wonder why people are stressed out and have anxiety and depression. You got too much stuff in your head. Put it down on paper. Once you put it down on paper, that's one step. Then when you go back and look at it and oh, wait a minute, I could have handled this way, or maybe I'll make this change tomorrow. So that it's a good technique to use.
It's journaling, putting it on paper.
Journaling. Just put it on paper. I don't care if you write on the wall. Just put it down somewhere.
Somewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
I was looking at the cover, and I just want to talk a little bit about the cover and how you came up with 10 Steps to Self-Soothe. Can we take a look at that cover of that book? Can you kind of explain to us how you came up with it? Because it's saying a lot. Yes. Can you see
So
it? Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can see it. Yeah. I am first of all, water is extremely soothing to me. Some people, they don't, but for me, water is extremely soothing. And when I looked at that, it just felt peaceful. Looks like the sunset. Um, it's just peaceful to me. And a lot of times I go to the water and I'll just sit. I don't, sometimes I don't want to get I don't want to get in, but it's just hearing the water and it's hearing the waves and it's hearing, I'm such a beach bum, I love it, but it's just soothing, and so when I it just hit me. I knew it had to be water,
Okay.
but the way that set with the sunset in the back just struck me.
Yeah, because I was looking at it. I said, I got to ask her, how did she come up with it? And that says a lot because water, like you said, water is, and it also helps when you got a swimming pool in the backyard, right?
Well,
Right.
I don't get in there much either, but
but but I get it. And one of the other aspects I was looking at is empathy as part of this soothing. Can you kind of explain to us a little bit about having that empathy?
I don't see a lot of people have that anymore. Everybody is for self.
Okay.
Everybody, so many people are just for self. They don't care about the job, they care about the bag. And don't get me wrong, I chase the bag. I want to make the money.
Right.
However, you have to be able to differentiate between making this money or caring about your your audience, your patients, your staff, you have to be able to differentiate. There's so many people that don't care, or they'll say, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, well, by 3 o'clock, I need this report. Where is the empathy? Where don't you care about that human touch? It- I won't start with the disconnect, but that human touch is it's deplenished. It's sad that people don't care about how somebody else feels. It is important to me if I see someone upset, if they're crying. Sometimes I can just be in the store and somebody looks sad, and I say, "Oh, that dress is cute," and you could just they just perk, you know, because it's free to say something nice to somebody. It's free to uplift somebody.
Yeah. Now, I like you put that in perspective of relationships, because there's a lot of viewers on watching it and going to be talking about it. Put that in perspective of each other showing the empathy when you are going up and you're not soothing. How you get that? How you bring that together?
Stop. Just stop. Just stop when you feel, because we know when we're agitated, or we can feel when it's getting ready to go down, you know, like, just stop. and
Right.
and sometimes you just have to say, you know, no disrespect, can I just have a minute to regroup, and then we can revisit this conversation. I am not I am a therapist, but a relationship therapist I am not. But who, if I was, boy, I would have cut out a lot of drama.
Right.
But you know, but I do know that it is okay just to stop right in the moment,
Okay.
and take your time. Go and take 3 minutes and breathe. Go and take 3 minutes and just meditate. Don't say nothing. You don't, when you're meditating, and that's in one of the steps as well. You're not anybody. You're not. I don't want them to be mom, wife, uh, co-worker. You are just one with yourself and the universe. You are just, you're in this moment right now, and that's all that matters. Everything else, you're tuning out, and you are just one with you. And once you have the ability, it ain't easy. Now, let me go ahead and put that out there. You know, oh, I'm just gonna go run and meditate before I cuss you out. You know, no, it's
Right.
not. It's a process, and it takes time to learn how to meditate. My son is and his father, they're excellent meditators, and I used to think, oh my God,
Right.
they're introverts. Ew, you know, because they like to be by themselves. And I'm like, no, you don't. I tell my son, you know, I'm your mom. Like, I'm a people person. What's wrong with you? Do you need a doctor? Why do you know what? And it took many years for me to realize that it is okay to be with yourself.
Right.
You have to be able to, you have to learn how to be with yourself and understand yourself, because a lot of times people think, and especially with social media running rapidly, you know, running rapid, if they don't get enough likes, I'm feeling bad about myself, you know. um, if nobody said anything about, you know, their shoes they just bought, or their hair, or if they're overweight or underweight, or they, you know, they feel really bad about themselves, you better learn how to reach inside to the inner you, and and learn to love you. That is something that took me many years to do, is to say, you know, I'm all right. You know, I'm not perfect, but I'm all right.
And what and I want to get to the other book, Disconnect, on the other side of the break. But there was something else I want to add to, with like, some people are probably looking at it and say, yeah, okay, I hear you meditating, but we in this confrontation, verbal confrontation right now. And you spoke about trigger words that it's, go ahead, to help with that.
That too is a process because in another book because you have to learn you have to learn how to disagree. It's okay to disagree. I don't have to disrespect you to disagree. And when you feel yourself in that moment, you have to remove yourself from where you are. You have to remove yourself from that place. You have to walk away. Go take a shower. Go do whatever it is, but you have to remove yourself from that space because that right now, because if I'm getting ready to go on one,
Right.
he gonna go on one. You know what I mean? So now we're yelling about something that happened 5 years ago and nothing makes sense and it just becomes a disaster. In that moment, it's toxic. Remove yourself. Go sit outside, go sit by the pool, go take you a shower, go sit in your prayer closet, wherever it is that you can go to be by yourself, but you have to remove yourself from that situation right then. That's very hard to do and especially it was very hard for me because I just want to say one more thing.
Right. You want to be right, huh?
Just let me tell you this one more thing before I go into this prayer closet,
Right.
so, but it takes strength and perseverance to to have the ability to just, pardon me, I need to excuse myself from this toxic situation. Let me de-escalate. I'm going to give you your time. We'll revisit.
And you don't have to be right. You don't have to feel because you removing yourself that you're not right. Okay.
No.
Got it. Okay. I know you're busy, but I want to talk a little bit about the disconnect. We're going to go to a break. We're talking with Precious Shepherd, the author of 10 Steps to Self-Soothing. And we're going to come back off the break and we're going to talk about her other additional book, The Disconnect. Can we go to that break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again. We're talking with Precious Shepherd. She's the author of 2 books on their way to being bestsellers, no doubt about that. The first book we were talking about earlier was called 10 Steps to Self-Soothing. And we're going to touch a little bit about another book that she has. It's called The Disconnect. Go ahead and share a little bit about the disconnect, because now this disconnect, people, it's 100. I'm trying to tell you, it is 100.
I tell you.
Yes,
Like, oh, she's so nice. And then she wrote that.
right.
Yeah. You need to disconnect first and then learn how to
Self-soothe.
Oh my goodness.
How'd you come up with the disconnect? Because I know you've been working on, you've been working on it for a while, but
For years.
yeah,
And I'm gonna give you your flowers, because we talked about we were at a meeting somewhere, studio or something. We were at a meeting and we were having this conversation and I'm telling you, some things and you need to write a book. And I thought, oh, well, he's intelligent. He knows. He's great. So I'm gonna do what he says. So I start writing. Keep in mind now, I never wrote a book before at this time. And God, that was probably 10 years ago. And I start writing. I'm old school though, so I'm writing it on paper. And then I move.
right.
And I could not find what I wrote for probably 3 years, 4 years maybe. And I was just so, I had wrote so much and took so much time. And so it kind of, deflated me some. And I'm like, just forget it. And then I, I moved again. If I don't sit down, I moved again and I found it. And so then I started working on it. And then I want to change this and I want to change that. And then, of course, life's. So I just didn't really have the time. But you kept saying, hey, what's going on with the book? What's going on with the book? What's going on with the book? And I'm like, multi-millionaire. I'm gonna get to the book. And so we have the conversation often. And finally, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and I had finished and it just wasn't enough pages to put on Amazon. And I'm like, what? So just one thing after another, and you just kept on me about the book. And my good friend Wendy, she's amazing. And she's like, okay, friend, well, whenever you're ready. So I finally stood up and let's do it. And I added some more things. And I just don't want to add anything else because every time I turn around or see something or something in the world, it's just like, I got just one more thing I'm gonna put in there. So that book will be, I believe by Wednesday or Thursday, it can be purchased by Wednesday or Thursday.
Let's go out if we can. Let's talk a little bit about the
Go.
of the disconnect. Yes, because it's just cover. Can we take a look at the cover of the disconnect? There it is. Kind of explain to us a little bit this vision, because it's saying a lot, but it's saying what you wanted to say. So share a little bit with us, please.
So I wanted the world or globe to be in the middle, and I wanted man and woman to be on there, with the world separating them, okay. Because the disconnection between, look at where we were, look at Big Mom, okay, and great grandma, and the way we operated then compared to now. I don't really know exactly what happened, but the disconnect was so severe. I remember there was just certain things you didn't say in front of, older, the elder. You didn't say things, certain words, and you wasn't cussing and doing all kinds of stuff in front of Big Mom. I wish you would, you knew that no matter what was going on Sunday, we was going over there. And we knew, the food. We knew that it was love in the food. We going to Papa Do's now, which actually sounds like a great idea. But we're going out to eat because we're busy, and I get it. We don't treat each other the way that we used to treat each other back then. We don't dress the same. Yeah, I remember, as I was about 14, and I thought I was cute in my little shorts. And my mom hit the roof. She actually took a picture, took the camera to the store to have that developed. It was a long time ago. I dated myself again. And then showed me the picture. Look at you. And I was like, well, it was hot, but we didn't dress a certain way. We didn't, and Big Mom, we know a lot of people where they're together 30, 40, 50 years. Do you think that they liked each other every day? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it was the love and the respect and the perseverance and the tenacity. I don't like you today, but I love you, and I'm going to do what I need to do to make my house run smoothly. Now, forget about it. They're not, we have 3-year-olds twerking on social media.
Okay. Mhm.
Where is that cute? That's not cute. We have men that have, you know, 3, 4, 5 different women and 3 or 4 or 5 different babies. You making these babies, um, bruh, but you not taking care of these babies. You know, Big Ma, it was Big Ma and Papa in the house, you know, and we saw the togetherness. We saw the two-parent household. You know, you scrapping now to find a two-parent household because
Right.
men don't want to and women feel like they don't need them to. And that is the problem. Oh, yes, you do. It is your job. If your child is looking at you and watching what you do. You are laying the path, you are shaping their paradigm. Their little brains are plastic. And it takes years, you know, their men's brains are not even, and I won't go into the mental health piece of it or the brain part of it, but their brains are not even fully developed until about 23. So you think you got this 3-year-old and mom hitting the club, you know, go to bed, go to grandmom, go wherever you're going because I got to go out. Dad's nowhere around. You know, what happened? What happened? We need to get back to that because it is our responsibility. It's not the school. It's not, don't blame the school system. Don't blame socioeconomic situations and the status. Don't do that. It is your responsibility with $500 a month or $50,000 a month to properly raise your children. And they need to see people break up, and I get that, but you still need to be active in these children's lives. And then you wonder why the daughters have toxic relationships. Well, that's what they saw. You know, they're not going to get a real man because they never saw one. You know, so that book,
Yeah.
be prepared.
Right, because I know you actually in part of you get into the relationships, the respect of each other, and where that
There's none.
the women's and the women's that's hearing me, please don't misunderstand me, okay? But we have lanes, and it's not that you have to stay. So please understand what I'm saying. That those it's like a highway, and we're traveling together. And she talks a little bit about traveling that highway together, still in your. I'm gonna use space because maybe people perceive that a little better. Because I don't want nobody to say, "What are you talking about? Stay in my lane. I ain't got no lane to stay." And see, we that's another. I know you talk
That's
about that,
okay.
right? When we get into that, men and women get into. Don't be telling me my lane. And see, that's a whole nother different thought. And the book is deep. The book is deep. It's called The Disconnect, and it really gets into. We're out here buying these buildings, these properties. We're pushing businesses, becoming successful. And then when somebody mentions something, she talks about it, you're feeling disrespected. You're feeling like somebody's trying to control you. Now, she ain't talking about, and I ain't speaking for her, she ain't talking about Junebug. And Junebug, if you're out there, I ain't disrespecting your name, Junebug. But I'm just saying there is a way. Go ahead, Miss Shepherd, touch on it a little bit. I'll let you, because this is your book. Yeah, but it's powerful.
You know, when you speak of lane or space,
Mhm.
I don't care how you size it up. He is supposed to be the head of the household. Now, that's not going to take nothing from me because I am an individual. I am a very strong Black woman, very strong. I am independent. No, I don't have to have anybody pay my bills. Sure, appreciate it. But, I don't, it's not something that I have to have. But the way that it's supposed to go is the man is supposed to be the head of the household, and the man is the head, the woman is the neck.
Okay.
That it's okay to have your lane. It's to stay in your lane. It's okay to be submissive. It's okay to cook the food. You know how many times woo, before I knew how to de-escalate really good. You know, I'm gonna cook the dinner though. But I'm gonna drop the plate down hard. Here you go. You know, and I'm gonna bring all the little condiments and everything. I'm gonna put them down there. And then when he get done, oh, I'm gonna pick it up, but I'm gonna kind of snatch it. You know. So, but your position, you don't get to ignore your position because you have a situation with somebody else or because you guys had a negative dialogue, you know, because I promise you, when I turn them lights on, oh, I need them to come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then I'm not looking, if they don't, I'm not looking at the book because I'm going to be upset, you know, and that's what we expect, you know. This book is I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody. I'm needing people to see where see the shift, and I need them to regroup. We need to, our predecessors, our people, our grandparents, great grandparents, these people, we are supposed to be standing on the shoulders of them, you know, and they're probably in their grave like, I did all that for this, for you to have all these, got kids all over the place. I know somebody that had a sister, but didn't know that that was his sister, and they dated. Good thing nothing else happened. They were young, you know, so it's my boyfriend. No, that's not your boyfriend. That's your whole brother, you know, and it's just because of the way that society is. Nobody wants to stick anything out anymore. Everybody's quick to leave. Oh, I could go. I don't have to be married. I could get a divorce. You know, I I even know how to do them. It was part of the legal team, people, but you know, but you know, it's just there's nobody wants to put forth any effort anymore to make things happen. It's beautiful on the other side when you get there, but as soon as stuff gets a little bit hard, well, hell, I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Do it, yeah.
You know, it takes time and patience and understanding and a lot of de-escalating and soothing, and you know, it takes that. But the beauty is on the other side. You know, we weren't designed to be with, you know, 15 different men, and you know, that's not, by the time you get to number 15, you raggedy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we need to learn how to regroup. We need to regroup and learn how to respect each other. A lot of the respect is gone. You know, a lot of these, they call them baby mamas. I can't stand that term.
Okay.
But you know, you don't know what a woman did to have your baby. You don't know. It's like, I'm sure I have the number wrong, but it's like having like 50 bones broken in your body at the same time. That's what that feels like. You know, it is, you're so close to death by giving birth. You know, we give you life and then you take ours. Like, what is that? So we need to get back into, we need to go back. Let's just stop and look back at our predecessors and see how they did it, you know, and get back to that, because how can we expect for anybody else to respect us if we don't respect each other?
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, folks, the book is 100. I mean, if you if you go,
I hope they can take it.
if you don't want to say, okay, because one of them, she talks about stop judging each other. You know, we're looking at each other, you're judging each other, you're making decisions, and then you're escalating and you disrespect. And now you send somebody over there and he sends somebody over there, and that ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The respect piece, the respect piece. If you're not gonna be together, then you could peacefully separate. But if you got a child there, that child should not be affected negatively because you guys decided that this is not gonna work. But it shouldn't happen because it just because it got hard. What about when you get to the other side? The other side is beautiful once you, because you can look back and in hindsight, man, we went through this, that, and I still turn around and I'm looking at you. It's a blessing. It is a blessing. And a lot of people take advantage of the blessings that they have.
Yeah, appreciate it. And people probably hearing and say, well, she's just talking about you. No, she got a piece in there just for quote unquote single women, single man, dating, going back and forth, not really. I mean, it's powerful because a lot of us is out here single man, single women, dating, not dating, going back and seeing the other person you used to date. She gets into all of that because that's bringing energy into your present relationship, and then you get into them situations where you're arguing now, and you want like, why are we arguing? Because you done brought some other energy into the relationship. So she touches on all of it. It's called the disconnect. Can we get a shot of both? Not a shot. Okay, because somebody probably saw me drink. This is orange juice. I want to be clear. Right? I just thought about that. But can we get a photo of both of those books and the 10 steps to self-soothing? You're in control of your peace and the disconnect. And it's on Kindle, people, please. And this is what Straight Talk's gonna do. The first 5 people that contact Straight Talk, we're gonna make sure you get a copy of the 10 steps to self-soothing, because the disconnect will be out next Wednesday. So if you contact me, you want both of them, you only get one now. You got to choose, because somebody else, 4 other people, gonna get an opportunity to pick one of those different books as well. And multimillionaire, we call multimillionaire because we spoke that into existence years ago. We still push
Years ago.
If you continue to do that, it's going to happen.
That's
We don't know
right.
how it's going to happen because that's bigger than us. But we
That's
really
right.
appreciate you stopping in. Like I said, I know you're on the grind, but you kept it 100. These books, people, please get out and read these books. First 5 to contact Straight Talk TV, the show that cares about you, will get a copy of the book to you. And I know you're going to be on your tour. Keep us posted.
I will.
You're going to do your book tour so we can make sure that we cover it, be there, whatever you need us to do. And it's been a blessing to have you in our presence. People, I know you're probably saying, oh, wait till you read it. It's fire. It's fire. But again, thank you. And we
apologize in advance.
But I want to ask a question to you. Doing these books and showing people how to self-soothe and de-escalate and going through the process with each other, even though when you have those arguments, just taking that time off, coming back, don't give up on each other, just making it happen with these books. What is something that you really want to give to the people for them to get out of these books?
I want to promote peace.
Okay.
I want to, I feel like we have so much knowledge and education stored in, we are a genius people. You know, we have so much inside of us, and I want to bring the goodness out. I want to do it in a positive manner. I want people to go back to taking care of each other. I want us to not have the discount mentality when they go to Black-owned businesses. We need to support each other. It is our responsibility to support each other. I remember, you know, being a child, and if somebody was hungry next door, you just took them some food. You never heard about it again. You do that today, it's all over Facebook. I had to give her some sugar. She come over here after, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I want to just get back to the roots. I want to get back to the beginning. Let's start all over again and followed the path that our predecessors laid for us. I think that's what I want to just promote peace and because when you're upset, when you're fussing, when you're stressed and anxiety, and it causes so many things. It causes your, again, I won't go into the brain because that's another piece, but it causes so much dysfunction in your body as a whole. I wonder why my back keeps hurting. Stress, anxiety. My heart is doing something. Stress. So I need people to be able to take care of themselves in the moment, and then other things, because some of these arguments go way too far. They go way too far. So if I could save somebody, help somebody, the love I have for people, God gave me this heart. Sometimes I want to, like, hey, why? But God gave me this heart to love on people, and just spread love and assistance if needed.
We appreciate that, and people protect your peace. And again, we've been talking with author Precious Shepherd, author of 10 Steps to Self-Soothing and the Disconnect. And again, I'm gonna put it back out there. First party, reach Straight Talk. We got you a book coming. And again, appreciate you so much. Keep us informed on what you're doing. Blessings to you always. Steve, can we go ahead and run that? We're gonna close it on out. And please,
Thank you so
I
much.
would like, when your schedule permits, maybe doing a segment of each Straight Talk show. Just come on a segment and drop some nuggets to our people about
Anytime, I will make time for you. I love you and Straight Talk.
We appreciate you. I love back. Out.